Right now, one of the most important countries shaping your wallet, your phone, and the future of green energy isn't in Europe, and it's not China. It is a place you might only associate with Bali beaches, and maybe that one time you tried instant noodles. It's Indonesia, and what's happening there is about to change everything. Forget what you think you know. This isn't just a story about a tropical paradise. This is about a seismic shift in global power happening in plain sight. Indonesia is the world's fourth most populous country, a sprawling archipelago of 17,000 islands. For decades, it was seen as a source of raw materials, a giant open-air supermarket for wealthier nations. They dig up valuable stuff, ship it out, and others would get rich turning it into things we use every day. But a few years ago, Indonesia's president, Joko Widodo, decided to flip the script. He looked at the global supply chain and basically said, "The party's over." In 2020, he did something that sent shockwaves through the global market. He banned the export of raw nickel ore. Now, why does nickel matter? Well, take a look at your phone, your laptop, any electric car you see on the street. They all run on high-performance batteries, and the secret ingredient, the key to making them powerful and stable, is nickel. And Indonesia? It sits on the world's largest nickel reserves. It's the Saudi Arabia of battery metals. By banning exports, Widodo forced the world's biggest companies to come to him. If you want Indonesia's nickel, you have to build your factories in Indonesia. You have to process it there. You have to hire Indonesian workers and share the wealth. It was a massive gamble. The World Trade Organization called it illegal. The European Union sued them, but it worked. Suddenly, giants like Tesla, Hyundai, and the Chinese battery behemoth KATL were all knocking on Jakarta's door, ready to invest billions. This strategy is called resource nationalism, or more specifically, downstream industrialization. It's a fancy term for a simple, powerful idea. Stop selling your ingredients and start baking the cake yourself. And it's not just nickel. Indonesia is now applying this playbook to other critical resources, like bauxite, the key to aluminum, and copper. They're building a vertically integrated industrial machine, from mine to metal to final product, all on their own soil. This isn't just an economic policy. It's a declaration of independence from the old global order. So why should you, sitting thousands of miles away, care about any of this? Because this move is creating a new center of gravity in the world economy. The price and availability of every electric vehicle, every smartphone, every piece of stainless steel in your kitchen is now directly tied to decisions made in Jakarta. As the West and China wrestle for dominance, they both desperately need what Indonesia has. This gives Indonesia immense leverage, allowing it to play both sides and chart its own course. It's a masterclass in middle power diplomacy, turning geological luck into geopolitical strength. But it's not all a simple success story. This rapid industrial boom comes at a steep price. The process of mining and smelting nickel is incredibly dirty. It requires vast amounts of energy, often from coal-fired power plants built specifically for this purpose. So, in the global rush to go green with electric cars, we are creating pollution hotspots in places like Sulawesi and Halmahera. Forests are being cleared, coastal waters are being contaminated, and local communities are facing the environmental fallout. It is the great paradox of the green transition. Our clean energy future is being built on a foundation of very dirty industry, and the challenges don't stop there. Indonesia is a young, vibrant, and chaotic democracy. With over 200 million voters, its elections are some of the most complex in the world. The country is navigating deep-seated issues of corruption, infrastructure gaps, and the immense logistical nightmare of governing a nation spread across 3 time zones. Will its political system be stable enough to manage this explosive growth? Can it balance economic ambition with environmental protection? These are the billion-dollar questions that global investors and world leaders are asking right now. The story of modern Indonesia is the story of our time, compressed into one nation. It's about the tension between globalization and nationalism, the conflict between economic development and environmental sustainability, and the shifting balance of power in the 21st century. What happens here over the next decade won't just stay in Indonesia. It will define the products we buy, the geopolitics we navigate, and the kind of world our push for a green revolution will actually create. This is the new reality, and it's unfolding right now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that explain our rapidly changing world. Welcome back to part 2 of our deep dive into Indonesia. If you missed part 1, where we covered the basics, definitely check that out. Today, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of modern Indonesia and why it's suddenly a country everyone is talking about. So, let's start with the official name, the Republic of Indonesia. This isn't just a name. It tells you a lot about the country's core identity. After a long struggle for independence, declaring itself a republic was a powerful statement of self-determination and a break from its colonial past. It signifies a government of the people, for the people. And what does that government look like? Indonesia is a presidential republic. This means the people directly elect their president, who acts as both the head of state and the head of government. It's a vibrant and sometimes noisy democracy, the third largest in the world, in fact. With hundreds of ethnic groups and languages, holding the country together under one democratic system is a massive achievement in itself. The national motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means unity in diversity, isn't just a nice phrase. It's a daily practice. Now let's zoom out to the global stage. Indonesia isn't just a passive observer, it's a major player. It's a prominent member of the United Nations and a founding member of ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Through ASEAN, Indonesia plays a crucial role in promoting regional stability, economic cooperation, and peace in one of the most dynamic regions in the world. It also holds significant weight in the G20, a group of the world's largest economies. When Indonesia hosted the G20 summit recently, it put the country front and center, leading global conversations on everything from economic recovery to climate change. This brings us to the big question: why is Indonesia suddenly on everyone's radar? Well, it's a perfect storm of factors. First, its economy is booming. With a young, growing population and a rapidly expanding middle class, it's becoming an economic powerhouse. International companies are flocking there, seeing immense potential for growth. Second, resources. Indonesia is a treasure trove of critical natural resources. It's the world's top producer of nickel, which is essential for electric vehicle batteries. As the world shifts towards green energy, Indonesia's resources are becoming incredibly strategic. This gives it huge geopolitical leverage. Third is its strategic location. Straddling the Indian and Pacific Oceans, it controls some of the world's busiest shipping lanes. What happens in Indonesia has ripple effects on global trade and security. And finally, its soft power is growing. From its stunning tourism destinations like Bali to its vibrant culture and cuisine, the world is falling in love with what Indonesia has to offer. It's a country that's confidently stepping into the spotlight, balancing its rich traditions with a forward-looking vision. It's a complex, dynamic nation that is not just shaping its own future, but also helping to shape the future of our world. That's a wrap for today. We've only scratched the surface, but I hope this gives you a clearer picture of modern Indonesia. Join me in the next part, where we'll explore its incredible culture and people. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Welcome back to part 3 of our deep dive into Indonesia. If you missed the first 2 parts, definitely check them out. Today we're tackling 2 massive topics: people and place. First up, let's talk about Indonesia's population, because it is staggering. With over 280 million people, Indonesia is the 4th most populous country on the planet. To put that into perspective, that's more people than the entire population of the United States and Canada combined. It's a huge number, and what's even more significant is how young this population is. The median age is just around 30. This creates what economists call a demographic dividend, a massive, energetic workforce ready to build, innovate, and consume. This youth boom is fueling incredible economic growth. Think about it. Millions of young people entering the job market, starting families, and buying their first homes and cars. This has led to a rapidly expanding middle class, especially in sprawling urban centers like Jakarta, Surabaya, and Bandung. You can see it everywhere: new shopping malls, bustling cafes, and a tech scene that's absolutely exploding. But this demographic gift also comes with challenges. The government has to create enough jobs for all these young people and provide quality education and healthcare to ensure this dividend doesn't turn into a demographic burden. How Indonesia manages this transition will not only determine its own future, but will also send ripples across the global economy. A thriving Indonesian middle class means a huge new market for international goods and services. A struggling one could mean instability in a critical region. It's a high-stakes game and the world is watching. Now let's shift our focus from the people to the place itself. You can't understand Indonesia without understanding its geography. We're talking about the world's largest archipelago, a sprawling chain of over 17,000 islands scattered between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. This isn't just a pretty postcard. It's one of the most strategically important locations on Earth. Indonesia sits astride some of the world's most critical sea lanes. The Strait of Malacca, for instance, is a narrow passage that sees about a quarter of all global trade pass through it every year. Oil from the Middle East, electronics from China, goods from Europe. It all funnels through waters controlled by Indonesia. Having influence over these choke points gives Indonesia immense geopolitical leverage. If these routes were ever disrupted, the global economy would feel it almost instantly. And then there are the natural resources. The islands are rich in everything from palm oil and coal to nickel and copper. Materials that are essential for everything from our food to our smartphones and electric cars. This natural wealth is a blessing, but it also brings risks. Deforestation, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and tsunamis are constant threats. Balancing economic development with environmental protection is one of the nation's biggest challenges. So, when you combine its strategic location, its control over vital trade routes, and its vast natural resources, you begin to see why Indonesia is such a key player in the Asia-Pacific. Its political decisions, its stability, and its relationship with neighbors like China and Australia have a direct impact on the entire region's power dynamics. Indonesia isn't just a bystander, it's a pivotal nation at the crossroads of the world. And that's a wrap for Part 3. We've covered the powerful force of its young population and the immense strategic importance of its geography. These factors are shaping not just Indonesia, but the world we all live in. In our final part, we'll look at Indonesia's vibrant culture and its future trajectory. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and if you're enjoying this series, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the conclusion. See you in the next one. Have you ever looked at a map and wondered why some places just seem to be at the center of everything? Well, welcome to Indonesia, a country whose geography isn't just about beautiful islands. It's a game changer for the entire world. This is part 4 of our series, Indonesia Today, and we're diving deep into why its location is so incredibly important. Let's start with the basics. Indonesia isn't just a country. It's the world's largest archipelago, with over 17,000 islands scattered between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Think about that for a second. It's a massive bridge connecting 2 continents, Asia and Australia. This unique position places it right at the crossroads of global trade. For centuries, ships carrying everything from spices to smartphones have sailed through its waters. Now, let's talk about the choke points. You might have heard of the Strait of Malacca. It's one of the most important shipping lanes on the planet. A huge chunk of global trade, including a massive amount of oil from the Middle East and goods from China, passes through this narrow stretch of water. And guess who has significant control over it? That's right, Indonesia. Along with the Sunda and Lombok Straits, Indonesia essentially holds the keys to major maritime highways. If these routes were ever disrupted, the global economy would feel it almost instantly. It's like having control over the main arteries of global commerce. This gives Indonesia immense strategic leverage, but the story doesn't end with shipping lanes. Beneath its tropical forests and volcanic soil lies a treasure trove of natural resources. Indonesia is a global powerhouse in producing nickel, which is vital for electric car batteries, as well as tin, coal, and palm oil. The world's green energy transition and consumer goods markets are heavily dependent on what comes out of Indonesia. However, this wealth comes with a huge responsibility and significant risks. Being located on the Pacific Ring of Fire means the country constantly faces the threat of earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions. Deforestation and climate change also pose serious environmental challenges that the country and the world have to grapple with. How Indonesia balances economic growth with environmental protection is a critical question for the future of our planet. Finally, let's zoom out to the bigger picture of Asia-Pacific politics. With its massive population, growing economy, and strategic location, Indonesia is a major player. It's a founding member and the de facto leader of ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. In the escalating rivalry between major world powers like the United States and China, Indonesia's position is crucial. It often plays a balancing act, trying to maintain its independence while navigating the complex geopolitical landscape. Which way Indonesia leans on major issues can influence the entire region's stability and power dynamics. So, the next time you see Indonesia on a map, remember it's not just a collection of idyllic islands. It's a strategic powerhouse, a resource giant, and a critical player whose geography shapes our global reality every single day. Thanks for watching this part of our series on Indonesia. If you found this interesting, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next and final part of our deep dive. See you in the next video. To truly understand Indonesia today, we have to look back, but don't worry, this isn't a boring history lesson. We're just hitting the key moments that shaped the vibrant nation we see now. Imagine an archipelago of over 17,000 islands, each with its own culture and history. For centuries, powerful kingdoms like Srivijaya and Majapahit thrived here, controlling vital sea lanes and trade. Then the world came knocking. Starting in the 16th century, European powers, primarily the Dutch, arrived, drawn by the lucrative spice trade. This kicked off a long and complex colonial period. For over 300 years, the Dutch East India Company and later the Dutch government exerted control, exploiting resources and fundamentally altering the social and political landscape. This era of foreign rule planted the seeds of a powerful idea, a unified, independent Indonesian identity. The early 20th century saw the rise of nationalist movements. Leaders like Sukarno emerged, championing the dream of merdeka, or freedom. World War II was a major turning point. The Japanese occupation shattered the myth of European invincibility. Just days after the war ended in 1945, Sukarno and his fellow nationalist Muhammad Hatta declared Indonesia's independence. But freedom wasn't handed over. It was won through a grueling 4-year revolutionary war against the returning Dutch forces. Finally, in 1949, the world recognized Indonesia as a sovereign nation. Sukarno became its first president, a charismatic figure who championed a philosophy of Pancasila, 5 principles of belief in one God, justice, unity, democracy, and social justice that still forms the state's foundation. His era, known as the Old Order, was marked by a strong anti-colonial stance and nation-building efforts. In the mid-1960s, a period of intense political turmoil led to the rise of General Suharto and his new order. For the next 3 decades, Indonesia experienced significant economic development and stability, but it came at a cost. His authoritarian rule suppressed political dissent and was plagued by corruption and human rights concerns. He built up the country's infrastructure and economy, but power was heavily centralized. Then came 1998. The Asian financial crisis hit Indonesia hard, sparking massive student-led protests. The people demanded change, and this reformasi movement led to Suharto's resignation. This was a pivotal moment, ushering in a new era of democracy. Since then, Indonesia has transformed. It's held free and fair elections, decentralized power to its regions, and tackled deep-rooted issues like corruption. The economy, once reliant on oil and gas, has diversified, with a booming digital sector and a growing middle class. This journey, from ancient kingdoms, through a long colonial struggle, to a hard-won independence, decades of authoritarian rule, and finally, a vibrant, messy, and thriving democracy, is what makes Indonesia so resilient. It's a history that explains the nation's fierce pride, its commitment to unity and diversity, and its ambitious drive to become a major global power. Understanding this past is the key to seeing where Indonesia is headed next. Stay tuned as we explore its dynamic economy in our next episode. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Hello and welcome back to our series, Indonesia Today, the reality shaping the world right now. If you've ever wondered what makes Indonesia tick, you're in the right place. So, what defines the Indonesian national mindset today? It's a fascinating blend of tradition and modernity, a spirit known as gotong royong, or mutual cooperation. This sense of community is the glue that holds this incredibly diverse nation together. It's about neighbors helping neighbors, communities coming together for festivals, and a shared understanding that we're all in this together. This collective spirit is a cornerstone of Indonesian identity, fostering resilience and a strong sense of belonging, even in the face of rapid change. Of course, you can't talk about Indonesia without talking about religion and diversity. The national motto is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means unity in diversity, and they live it. With hundreds of ethnic groups and languages, Indonesia is a true mosaic. While it has the world's largest Muslim population, it officially recognizes 6 religions, and the spirit of tolerance is deeply ingrained. From the serene mosques of Jakarta to the ancient Hindu temples of Bali and the Christian churches scattered across the islands, you see a daily practice of coexistence. This isn't just about tolerance, it's about celebrating differences, sharing festivals, and building a unified national identity that respects every individual's heritage and faith. It's a powerful lesson for the rest of the world. Young Indonesians are incredibly tech-savvy, creative, and globally connected. They are driving innovation in everything from e-commerce and fintech to digital art and content creation. Just look at the rise of super apps like Gojek and Grab, which started as ride-hailing services and are now indispensable parts of daily life, offering everything from food delivery to financial services. This digital boom isn't just changing the economy, it's transforming how people connect, learn, and express themselves. The youth are not just consumers of technology, they are creators, entrepreneurs, and the architects of Indonesia's digital future, and their energy is absolutely contagious. This dynamic cultural scene is also fueling Indonesia's growing soft power across Asia and beyond. Forget just politics and economics, we're talking about influence through culture. Indonesian cinema is gaining international acclaim at film festivals, with directors telling powerful, uniquely Indonesian stories. The music scene is exploding, with genres like dangdut koplo going viral and artists collaborating with international stars. And let's not forget the food. From Michelin-starred restaurants serving modern Indonesian cuisine to the global craze for Indomie instant noodles, the nation's culinary delights are winning hearts and stomachs everywhere. This cultural wave is projecting a new image of Indonesia: modern, creative, and confident. From its foundational spirit of gotong royong and its commitment to unity and diversity, to the incredible energy of its youth and its rising cultural influence, Indonesia is a nation on the move. It's a country that honors its past while boldly embracing the future. The story of Indonesia today is a story of resilience, creativity, and connection. It's a story that is not just shaping the future of 280 million people, but is also making a significant impact on the world stage. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through Indonesia. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to our series on Indonesia, the giant you might not see coming. We've talked politics, economics, and culture, but now it's time to reveal 3 shocking facts that will completely change how you see this country. First, let's talk about something called the demographic dividend. While many Western countries and even China are facing aging populations, Indonesia is in its prime. Over half of its population is under 30. Think about that for a second. This isn't just a statistic, it's an economic tidal wave waiting to happen. A massive, young, and increasingly educated workforce is entering the market right now. This means immense potential for innovation, consumption, and growth on a scale that many developed nations can only dream of. It's a powerful engine for the future, and it's running at full throttle while the rest of the world worries about retirement funds. Second, have you ever wondered where the nickel in your electric car battery comes from? Or the stainless steel in your kitchen? There's a very high chance it came from Indonesia. This isn't just about being a major supplier. Indonesia is a global nickel superpower. It holds the world's largest reserves and is the top producer by a huge margin. But here's the kicker. They've banned the export of raw nickel ore. They're forcing companies to build processing plants and smelters right there in Indonesia. This bold move means they're no longer just digging stuff out of the ground, they're moving up the value chain, controlling the processing, and capturing a much larger piece of the multi-trillion-dollar green energy and tech industries. Your future car, your phone, your renewable energy grid, they are all becoming increasingly dependent on Indonesia's strategic decisions. Finally, let's talk about a future risk that's already a present reality: the sinking capital. Jakarta, the current megacity capital, is one of the fastest sinking cities on Earth. Parts of it are dropping by as much as 25 centimeters a year due to excessive groundwater extraction and the weight of its own concrete jungle. This isn't a distant, abstract climate change problem, it's an immediate crisis. In response, Indonesia is doing something unprecedented. They are building a brand new capital city from scratch, called Nusantara, deep in the jungles of Borneo. This is one of the most ambitious and expensive mega-projects in the world today. It's a massive gamble, a vision of a futuristic, sustainable forest city, but it also carries enormous environmental risks and questions about its feasibility. The success or failure of Nusantara won't just define Indonesia's future. It will serve as a fascinating and perhaps terrifying case study for how humanity adapts to our planet's changing realities. And so there you have it. A demographic powerhouse, a critical choke point in global supply chains, and a nation literally moving its capital to survive. Indonesia isn't just a place on a map. It's a dynamic force shaping our collective future in ways we're only just beginning to understand. Thanks for watching. If you found this eye-opening, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next part of our series. See you then. Welcome back to our series, Indonesia Today. In this 8th installment, we're diving deep into the engine room of this archipelago nation, its economy. So, what's the real story behind Indonesia's economic powerhouse? Let's find out. For decades, Indonesia's GDP has been on a remarkable upward trajectory. It's a story of resilience and ambition. Despite global headwinds, it consistently posts impressive growth rates, often exceeding 5% annually. This isn't just a number. It represents millions of people finding new opportunities and a growing middle class with increasing purchasing power. This momentum is positioning Indonesia as a key player not just in Southeast Asia, but on the world stage. So, what fuels this economic engine? Traditionally, it's been natural resources. Indonesia is a global giant in commodities like palm oil, coal, and nickel. These resources have built the foundation of its modern economy. But the story doesn't stop there. The government is aggressively pushing for diversification. This means moving up the value chain. Instead of just exporting raw nickel, for example, Indonesia is now building a world-class electric vehicle battery industry, leveraging its resources to attract massive foreign investment from global giants. Manufacturing is another critical pillar. From textiles and footwear to automotive and electronics, Indonesian factories are humming. This sector is a huge source of employment and a vital part of the country is planned to become a developed nation. And then, there's the digital explosion. With one of the youngest populations in the world, Indonesia's tech scene is booming. Homegrown unicorns like Gojek and Tokopedia have revolutionized daily life, creating a vibrant digital economy that's attracting venture capital from all over the globe. This synergy between traditional industries and new-age tech is what makes Indonesia's economy so dynamic. No country is an island, economically speaking. Indonesia's major trade partners are a reflection of its global integration. China is its largest trading partner, a key destination for its commodities and a major source of imports. Japan, the United States, and its ASEAN neighbors like Singapore and Malaysia are also crucial partners for trade and investment. These relationships are vital for sustaining growth, providing markets for Indonesian goods and bringing in the capital and technology needed to develop its industries further. But it's not all smooth sailing. Indonesia faces significant pressures. Inflation is a persistent concern, especially for everyday essentials like food and fuel, which can squeeze household budgets. Inequality also remains a major challenge. While the cities are prospering, wealth distribution between urban and rural areas and between different islands is uneven. Closing this gap is a top priority for ensuring stable and inclusive growth. On top of that, global uncertainty, from fluctuating commodity prices to geopolitical tensions, can create ripples that affect the Indonesian economy. Navigating these challenges requires careful policy-making and a resilient economic structure. So there you have it, a snapshot of Indonesia's economy today. It's a story of incredible growth, fueled by rich resources and a burgeoning tech scene. It's a nation building its future while navigating the complex pressures of inflation, inequality, and a volatile global landscape. What happens here truly matters for the rest of the world. Thanks for watching. If you found this insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next part of our series on Indonesia. See you in the next video. Welcome back to Indonesia Today, where we explore the realities shaping our world. In this 9th installment, we're zooming out to look at Indonesia's massive and often underestimated global impact. You might be surprised to learn just how much of your daily life is connected to this sprawling archipelago. Let's start with your morning coffee, the tires on your car, or even the chocolate bar you enjoy. There's a good chance they came from or passed through Indonesia. This nation is a powerhouse in the global supply chain, a leading producer of palm oil, rubber, cocoa, and coffee. It's also a critical source of nickel, a key component in the batteries that power electric vehicles and our smartphones. When Indonesia's economy hums, the world gets the raw materials it needs. When it faces challenges, ripples are felt across industries and on store shelves globally. But its influence isn't just about commodities. Geographically, Indonesia is at the heart of the Indo-Pacific, the world's most dynamic economic and strategic region. Its thousands of islands straddle some of the most important shipping lanes on the planet, like the Strait of Malacca. A huge portion of global trade, including oil and gas, flows through these waters every single day. Ensuring these routes remain open and stable is a top priority for countries like the United States, China, Japan, and Australia. Indonesia's role as a regional anchor, promoting stability and diplomacy through organizations like ASEAN, is therefore crucial for global peace and prosperity. This strategic importance is why major world powers are paying such close attention. They see Indonesia not just as a trading partner, but as a key player in shaping the future of Asia. Its large young population and growing middle class make it a massive market for everything from technology to entertainment. Companies from Silicon Valley to Shenzhen are competing for a slice of this digital economy. Politically, Indonesia's commitment to democracy and its leadership in Southeast Asia make it an influential voice on the world stage. So who depends on Indonesia? The short answer is almost everyone, whether they realize it or not. If you're a manufacturer in Europe, you rely on its raw materials. If you're a consumer in North America, the goods you buy have likely passed through its waters. If you're a policymaker in Asia, you look to Indonesia for regional leadership. From the resources that build our modern world to the stability that underpins the global economy, Indonesia's influence is immense and growing. It's a quiet giant whose actions, policies, and stability have a direct impact on billions of people around the globe. Understanding Indonesia is no longer optional. It's essential to understanding the world we live in right now. Thanks for watching. If you found this insightful, please like, subscribe, and join us for the next part of our series. We've spent 9 episodes exploring the incredible tapestry of Indonesia, from its vibrant culture and dynamic economy to its complex political landscape. Now, we've reached the final crucial question. Why does Indonesia matter right now to you and to the world? Let's start with the global economy. Indonesia isn't just a player, it's a powerhouse. It's one of the fastest growing G20 economies. Its stability is directly linked to global economic health. When Indonesia thrives, it creates ripples of opportunity worldwide. When it faces challenges, the global market feels it. Its massive domestic market and rapidly expanding middle class make it a critical destination for investment and a key driver of global consumer demand. Then there's trade. Think about the products you use every day, From the nickel in your electric car battery to the palm oil in countless consumer goods, Indonesia is a linchpin in global supply chains. Its strategic location, commanding vital sea lanes like the Strait of Malacca, means that any disruption here can send shockwaves through international shipping and commerce. Securing these supply chains and ensuring their resilience is a global priority, and Indonesia is at the heart of that conversation. Now, let's talk about the planet. Indonesia is home to the world's third-largest rainforest, a critical lung for the Earth. Its decisions on deforestation, conservation, and its transition to renewable energy have profound implications for the global fight against climate change. The country is a geothermal giant and holds immense potential for solar and hydropower. How Indonesia balances its economic development with environmental protection is a story that will define our collective future. Geopolitically, Indonesia's role is equally vital. As a founding member of ASEAN and a prominent voice in the non-aligned movement, it champions a path of independent, active foreign policy. In an era of great power competition, Indonesia's position as a diplomatic bridge builder in the Indo-Pacific is more important than ever. It offers a balancing perspective, advocating for cooperation and a rules-based order, which is essential for regional and global stability. Finally, Indonesia is a symbol for the future of the developing world. It's a nation that has navigated colonialism, embraced democracy, and is now forging its own path to prosperity while managing incredible diversity. Its successes and struggles offer a real-world case study for hundreds of other nations striving for similar goals. Can a diverse, sprawling archipelago unite and thrive in the 21st century? The answer, being written in Indonesia, holds lessons for all of humanity. So, from the battery in your phone to the air we breathe and the peace we seek, Indonesia's influence is undeniable. It's not just a distant archipelago, it's a central character in the story of our time. Understanding Indonesia is no longer optional. It's essential to understanding the world we live in today and the one we are building for tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through Indonesia. If you've enjoyed this series, please like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you next time. Welcome back to The World Today, where we dive deep into the stories shaping our globe. This is part 11 of our series on Indonesia, and today we're relooking at the big picture. How this sprawling archipelago is not just a fascinating place, but a crucial force defining the world right now. When you think of global powers, your mind might jump to the usual suspects. But what if I told you the future isn't just being written in Washington or Beijing? What if it's being forged in the bustling streets of Jakarta, the tech hubs of Bandung, and the nickel mines of Sulawesi? Indonesia is the world's fourth most populous country. That's over 280 million people. Think about that market, that workforce, that sheer human potential. For decades, it was seen as a developing nation, a place for exotic holidays. But that perception is radically out of date. Today, Indonesia is a digital powerhouse. It has one of the fastest growing digital economies on the planet, with millions coming online every year, creating a vibrant ecosystem of startups, e-commerce giants, and content creators that are innovating at a breakneck pace. This isn't just about apps and online shopping. This digital leap is transforming everything, from finance with fintech solutions reaching the unbanked, to education and even politics. It's a society fundamentally rewiring itself in real time, and the rest of the world is taking notice. But it's not just about tech. Let's talk about resources. Indonesia is a commodity superpower. It's the world's largest producer of palm oil, a key source of nickel, and a major player in coal and natural gas. As the world shifts towards electric vehicles, where does the nickel for all those batteries come from? A huge chunk of it comes from Indonesia. This gives the country immense strategic leverage. Decisions made in Jakarta about resource management and export policies directly impact global supply chains, the green energy transition, and the price of goods in your local store. This economic might translates into growing political influence. Indonesia is a leader within ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and it plays a critical role as a stabilizing force in one of the world's most dynamic and contested regions. It champions a unique brand of diplomacy, navigating the complex relationship between major powers like the US and China while forging its own independent path. Its voice on global issues, from climate change to international security, is becoming louder and more influential. We also can't ignore the cultural aspect. From the global popularity of Indomie noodles to its rich cinematic and musical exports, Indonesian culture is making its mark. It is a testament to the country as soft power, the ability to influence through attraction rather than coercion. This cultural vibrancy, combined with its demographic and economic weight, makes Indonesia a nation that can no longer be overlooked. So, why does all this matter to you? Because the trends taking shape in Indonesia are a preview of the future. The challenges it faces, managing rapid urbanization, navigating religious and ethnic diversity, and balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability, are challenges the whole world is grappling with. The solutions it pioneers, from digital inclusion to resource diplomacy, offer lessons for us all. Understanding Indonesia is no longer optional for anyone who wants to be globally literate. It's about recognizing that the world's center of gravity is shifting. It's about seeing the future not as something dictated by a handful of traditional powers, but as a complex, multipolar reality shaped by dynamic rising nations. Because if you want to understand where the world is heading next, you need to understand countries like Indonesia. Subscribe to The World Today